How's it going, YouTube? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers War for Cybertron Netflix series, Autobot Bumblebee, from the second wave of deluxe class figures in Transformers War for Cybertron Netflix line. And this is a pretty good figure. We finally returned to Bumblebee being his Volkswagen Beetle mode, which is awesome. We've been waiting that a lot. We've been awaiting that in the Transformers main line for quite a while now. To get a good G1 version of Bumblebee. And, oh man. So here's some artwork here on the back. You can see his robot mode and his vehicle mode, and it is a licensed Volkswagen Beetle. It was just so difficult for Hasbro to get the licensing for Volkswagen, just for the Masterpiece alone. And then when the Transformers movie came out, they gave him a more lovable nature through that movie. I think to make the people at Volkswagen know that, you know, they're not just making war machines. The Transformers aren't just war machines. They're actually, like, you know, individuals. They're people who have complex emotions and everything like that. So it's really cool that we finally got a Transformers Volkswagen Beetle Bumblebee in the main line. That being said, he is obviously a retooling of a very heavy retooling of the Cliffjumper figure that we got in the Earthrise line. So you get this really nice artwork here of Bumblebee. It's very nice. It's like cell shaded. Whereas like some of the others have been more of like sketch work. It's more cell shaded and it's in color rather than being just black and white with a Autobot insignia sticking out. You get the same piece of artwork here in the background of the packaging. We get another piece of the Teletran one here. So and it can actually link with the one that Elita 1 came with. Let's see if I can get that and show you that. They can actually link together. Like so. Pretty cool. I would like getting more of the get more of these, just, you know, not having to necessarily get the figures. But be able to make, you know, a display to go behind my Autobots with these. Coming to the figure itself, here he is in his Volkswagen Beetle mode, and he looks great. I'm not planning on digging out the my Masterpiece Bumblebee, but this looks like a miniature version of the Masterpiece, so it's really, really nice. And they've done a really good job of capturing that. He rolls nicely in his vehicle mode. And everything's painted. The paint doesn't match up quite nicely in some panels, but I can't tell if it's really coming through in the... I don't think it's coming through on the camera how... Yeah, it's not really coming through on the camera. So, but in person I can see like a difference between like this paint and this paint, as well as like this paint and this paint. And then I think this paint's about the same as like this paint. They do have the Volkswagen emblem here painted in silver. The headlights are painted in silver. He has the Autobot insignia here on the hood. Oh yes, on the trunk really. The engine would be in the back. They did paint the tail lights, which is nice, as well as the they painted the rims. Here he is on the bottom, looks just like Cliffjumper. The bumpers are made of like a soft PVC material, so they're not going to break or anything. Same with the front bumpers. He does have the single wing mirror here on the side, without one on the other side. So it's very accurate. Oh, the door handles are also picked out in silver. pretty good. This is the Bumblebee I've been waiting for, really. Like, I do have the KBB Hornets agent. That was my stand-in until this came out, and when I got this just blew it out of the water. He does come with the same accessories as Cliffjumper, so he comes with 2 of these guns. One has a peg and one has a post at the post, and one has a port at the back. But otherwise, they look about the same. He comes with 2 of these little skids that can make a bipod for the missile launcher. And he comes with this piece, which just makes up the back side of the missile launcher. And then also like a support for his when he has the skids attached. I don't really use this on him, but I will show it for the review. I would be careful with these small pegs at the back, because instead of having the open posts back here like Cliffjumper does, this has, you know, just the ports here. So it's a very tight fit, and it's a bit difficult getting out. But anyway, I just plug those in to the back there. Plug this in underneath. And you're going to plug these underneath the front wheels, just like we did on Cliffjumper. And then plug these on to the back here onto these tabs. And I like doing it like that, so it's like thrusters coming out the back. And there he is, kind of in that setup. Now, I can no longer roll in this setup. It's mostly for display, but it looks alright. I prefer it on Cliffjumper for that scene of the cartoon. Then, of course, come off there. I showed you, like, it was a bit difficult. I haven't seen any stress on these pegs though, so it's not too big of a deal right yet. But if I start seeing stress, I'm not gonna do that ever again. But for the most part, I just give the rocket launcher to I gave it to Brawn. Yeah, it just goes back into the rocket launcher like it did on Cliffjumper. Another feature they show in the instructions is actually taking off this rear portion. Well, you don't have to take it off all the way. You just kind of have to get everything kind of positioned out so you can get these arms up and over, like so, and like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull this down, and you do want to rotate this around like so. And this will plug in right there. And there's kind of a hidden feature they didn't show on the Cliffjumper figure, but it does have like the same gimmick. You can do the same thing with the Cliffjumper. They actually showed it in the instructions on this figure though. It doesn't look great. I don't see anybody like displaying it like that. It'd be cool for like play purposes or for like stop motion purposes, but otherwise I don't really see anybody doing that kind of thing. Additional accessories. He doesn't come with this, but it came with the Centurion drone, but it's his pistol, his little blaster pistol, and it doesn't store in the vehicle, so you can't even like attach it in vehicle mode or nothing. So it doesn't store in vehicle mode. So if you plan on keeping your Bumblebee in vehicle mode, that's going to be basically worthless to you. However, in robot mode, he of course can hold it. So getting down to the robot mode for this figure, go ahead and pull this off, and you're going to flip this peg out. And just kind of flip it out. That way you have access to it. From here, I'm going to go ahead and try and pull these doors a little bit and then separate the front. That way you can pull it down just slightly and then pull it out. From here you can actually rotate the wheel under now and flip this whole the whole fender and door assembly down. And you want to line the wheel up so that this tab here will actually go into one of those ports on the wheel. And fold that door in. So once you're done with that side, you can go on to the other side, pull it out. It's a lot easier now because you don't have to get it off this tab and this tab. Flip the wheel in, rotate, and then once again just tab that door into the wheel. And there we go with that. Next we'll just fold the rear wheels out, which will bring the arms with them, and then bring this whole assembly up. Then we can rotate here at the waist, flip down the whole canopy section, bring down the hood, bring up these arms, and then close this up. Now bring his arms down to his sides. An optional step here, and this isn't something they show in the instructions or something that they showed. It's actually something I discovered on the Cliff Jumper figure, but you can actually like pull on the head. Just kind of pull it. Easier if you pull this out, but pull the head forward, and it will release this whole assembly here from the back, and that actually gives his neck a little bit of length, so it's not just sitting flat on his body. And it also gives him a little bit more articulation, like he can look down. He can't look up any further just based on the shape of his head. You can rotate. It just kind of frees it up a little bit more. Then you can take this piece and he can either use it as a shield, but you know, the main purpose is to put it onto his back like so, to finish off his robot mode. And he looks good. He looks good. He's a really good looking Bumblebee. I do wish that they would have put an Autobot insignia here, or if they had done like a flipping panel like they did on the Masterpiece figure. Because he's not much smaller than the Masterpiece. You can of course hold this gun, or you can have him hold his rocket launcher. And just like with Cliff Jumper, it does split into several different weapons, several different things you can use it for. But if you want him to hold that, he can hold that fine. Like I said, I gave it to Braun, so he's the one who has the rocket launcher now. Comparing him to the original use of the mold, here he is with Cliff Jumper. You can see they are about the same height. It's not surprising since they're the same mold. The articulation is also exactly the same on these two figures. So you get a ball joint at the head, so you rotate all the way around, look up and down, and then also the hinge here in the chest, so you can get a little bit more down if you want, or you can lock it in place and not worry about that. Rotation, full 360 on the shoulder, comes out at a high degree. His elbows bend both ways for transformation, 90 degrees either way, and then he has a bicep swivel. On mine, it's kind of tight. It feels like it gets caught up right there. I think I just had to release. Probably broke off some flash. And then a wrist swivel. Down here, you get a waist swivel. You get a backwards ab crunch so he can look up like that. Forward and back on the hips. In and out on the hips, so he gets a full Monty and the full Van Damme. Knee bend 90 degrees. And a deep, deep ankle rocker. No back or forth on that ankles, but you get enough, especially for a figure this size, from the main line. Here he is with his wave mate, Elita 1. Here he is with Optimus. As he comes just under Optimus's crotch. He's a really short deluxe figure. And then Getting everybody else out of the way, we can bring in his old buddy from the very first episode of the Transformers. Here he is with Wheeljack. And they look good together. So they can go out looking for energy rods and stuff like that. And I think they look great. So this guy, he's definitely would be a better option from this wave than Elita 1. If you wanted like a better version of, or another version of Wheeljack, there's that option as well. But this guy is definitely a really good option, and he's selling out pretty quickly from what I've seen. I think he's packed only one per case, which is odd for a Bumblebee figure. Usually he'd be taking up most of the space in the case, but in this, in this series, for some reason, Elita 1 has more figures being released. So, yeah, Bumblebee's great. Definitely pick him up. Thank you for watching, and until next time, till all are one.